Help. This morning, the Psalms, like I mentioned, take us through this sort of three-part structure of prayer, or three different forms of prayer. Help, thank you, and wow. Now, unfortunately, I think we tend to have a misguided notion of what prayer is, that it has to sound churchy, that someone professional with theological training needs to do it for us. They have to be eloquent and basically be a public speaker in order to pray. But in some ways, prayer is simply opening our attention to the sacred within and around us. It's about our attention. It's about openness. Sometimes it's not even about our words at all. I love the words of the poet Mary Oliver, who refused to ever confine herself to a single religious expression, but nonetheless wrote poems like this one called Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris, she writes. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch together a few words and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Prayer is presence. It's giving voice to what lies deep within. It's listening to oneself, listening to a voice both within and beyond oneself. And prayer is what arises in us when we finally come to the end of ourselves, of the illusions of our self-sufficiency, of being helpers but never receivers. It's the desire that remains unfulfilled no matter what we do. The desire for wholeness, for communion. And what we give voice to when we find ourselves in these places is help, thanks, and wow. Needless to say, becoming a parent, and if not for the first time, then definitely for the second time, prayer is always on your lips, whether you realize it or not. Help! Thank you. Wow. To be honest, I'm not sure any outweighs the others. They're just all there. And to be sure, you quickly become acutely aware of how much you need others. I know I have, between night feeds and wakings and gas and discerning what cries mean what, and hormones and baby blues, and is that postpartum depression? Is it baby blues? Is it neither? What is happening? Is this normal? And oh, I'm delirious. We're both delirious. But we have a toddler to feed. We should probably feed him something with some nutritional value at some point, who is both obsessed with his baby sister and who we need to keep from smothering her, and is also feeling left out. And we have to do the dishes, assuming we've made food. And then there's us, ourselves, right? Our relationship. How do you not become strangers unto yourself, unto each other, when you're too tired to even hear the thoughts in your own head? Or there's a loud toddler always buzzing nearby. How do you not only provide physically, which is hard enough some days, but have enough emotional and spiritual reserves to be present with them as they are growing, and as they will inevitably act out if you're not? And this is assuming the best of circumstances, that you're not recovering from a C-section or spending your days and nights in the neonatal intensive care unit. And on top of that, there's this pressure that we as a society kind of expect, or certainly praise, Those families that can appear like they do somehow have it all together in spite of everything. But I assure you, no one who is doing this, period, but especially on their own, has it all together. At best, it's a holy mess. And instead, you often feel profoundly inadequate. You feel insufficient, and you feel alone. Because you simply can't do it all yourself. And that's not an individual failure. That's just a human reality. And all too often in life, we fight this reality. We fight acknowledging where we're at and what we need, asking for help. We fight the shame and the sense of inadequacy that comes with acknowledging that we can't, in fact, do it all, even though it was never possible in the first place. But eventually, to stay human, to stay close to our humanity without hardening, we have to. We have to reach out. To be human is to be in need of others. This isn't something to know with your mind. This is something to give yourself to in the everydayness of life. What we need is not just an hour together here on Sunday mornings or there in the park or wherever it might be, but to find ways to weave our lives together so that we can actually be there for each other. Welcoming our second child into the world, Leela Nandini, definitely unlocked a new level of this prayer for help. Thankfully for us, Shresta's mom was with us for those first 6 tender and overwhelming weeks, caring for us with meals as we wearily adjusted to our new reality. I can't tell you how many times I felt like I was on my knees saying, thank you, oh my God, what a mess this would be without you. And yet, even in the midst of this transition, even with her there for us, life keeps on lifing, right? The rest of the world doesn't stop spinning. And it's just one example. Amidst all of this, even as Shresta's mom is there for us, she who lives in California and who immigrated to the U.S. just a month before Shresta was born, was having her citizenship, which she's had for decades, challenged by our broken bureaucratic system. And of course, in our political climate, that sends fear down your spine. What is happening? Is this intentional? Is she going to get the health care that she needs, which this was all a part of, getting onto Medicare? Thankfully, we've gotten it resolved, but gosh, it's been a lot, even with help, which just makes me truly angry to think about those who are expected or who are forced to move through such a momentous transition with no time to actually be present to each other, to be human through it, who are forced by jobs or financial need to return to work within days or weeks, who are forced to give birth amidst the travails of war and genocide and famine. Help. And what can we do, limited as it is? What can we do to help even as we are in need of help? One thing I've learned in life forcing me to accept help more readily, is that my capacity for and my prayer of gratitude also has expanded exponentially. Right? When you get beyond the myth of being self-sufficient and self-reliant, you begin to realize the many ways that life itself is pure gift. How much more we receive from others through nothing of our own doing than through what we in fact bring about. Right? How we not only sit beneath the shade of trees we didn't plant or eat the fruit of trees that we did not cultivate, but also how much greater life becomes when we dare to embrace the vulnerability that simply comes with being human and saying, I need you. help. And yeah, I want to help you too, but also help. To eat food our hands didn't prepare or we didn't pay for. To put diapers or pajamas on our child that were purchased with gift cards from all of you. To read Elias' books you so thoughtfully got him as he became a big brother. Thank you. Thank you. There is a dignity that comes from being able to provide for oneself. That's true. But there's also an indignity that comes when you never let others provide for you. It's this dehumanizing effect on ourselves when we do not let or we fail to acknowledge how others help to meet our needs. And I say this as a recovering, forget it, I'll just do it all myselfer. But in many ways, I think the depth of our gratitude shapes the depth of our humanity. And the greater our self-reliance, the more that we think we pull ourselves up by our bootstraps or try to do so, the smaller our sense of gratitude and awe at how much life is pure gift. Again, this is something that I don't just preach to you, but I am day by day trying to take in and learn for myself. It's, again, not something to know with your mind, but to live in the everydayness of life. But I have found that doing so has also deepened my capacity to be in awe of the world around me. And to do so without papering over the hard stuff, right? Without just being like, let's look on the bright side or joy or happiness. No, both are fully there. And of course, some days I do it better than others, but holding a newborn in your arms, witnessing the bloody miracle that is birth, that is a birthing body, the miracle of milk to feed and sustain a baby, but also that heals rashes and can also develop antibodies to keep a newborn from getting sick if the mother just kisses the lips and they swap a little saliva. To experience your newborn smiling and cooing at you, at the world for the first time. To witness Big Brother shifting from a sense of competition over your love to also being obsessed with his baby sister and constantly wanting to hug and kiss her and show her things. Who am I that I should be part of such a miracle? What are those ordinary, everyday miracles in your life? For whom are you grateful? When you begin to notice such things, which are hard to notice if you have to immediately return to the stresses and commitments of a job, you begin to notice them everywhere around you. And this, when you can stay close to this, or be returned to this by being a part of a community like this and having spaces where we gather to come back to our humanity, it changes the way that you go through the world and how you respond to the needs of others. It compels you to not only enjoy those things for yourself, but to live in ways that also enhance the lives of others, to work to create conditions such that anyone is given such time and support to stay close to their humanity, to support each other through big life transitions. And so I return to you with a renewed recognition for how much I am in need in this, especially in this season, how much I depend on the graces and gifts and support of others. And I thank you for your patience and understanding as my family and I continue transitioning into new rhythms and figuring out, can we make it through a service? How are we going to do this? What support do we need? What don't we need? What's helpful? And I return with a sense of gratitude. Gratitude that this time away was written into my contract and honored. That you value me and my family enough to give us this sacred cocoon. Gratitude for the ways that I know, even in my absence, you continued to come alongside each other, supporting one another amidst life's changes. Gratitude for the work that we enjoin ourselves in partnership to keep doing together. To keep building a community in our little corner of the world where people can stay close to their humanity as they share it together. In a world that is constantly dehumanizing us through isolation and fragmentation. And I stand here before you in awe that I get to be here at all. Awe that you keep showing up and shining forth even as the world threatens to overwhelm. It takes a lot to show up each day. Awe that all the little things that are, that could just as easily not be, were it not for your presence, your life, and our sharing it together. Help. Thank you. Wow. Again, how are these prayers alive in your own heart? In your own life, are they crying out to be prayed? When you study the Psalms, one of the things that you learn is that the emphasis in these is not really on their theology per se. I know there are sometimes these things in the Psalms and we think, how can that be in there? How can someone ask for that violence, the vengeance? But really what these are is they're structured to include the full spectrum, the honest full spectrum of human emotion, to say that that is welcome. There's a place for you to stay close enough to your humanity. God can handle all of it. We don't have to pretend we're spiritual enough that we don't get angry or have any of these feelings, these negative feelings. They also cultivate these orientations of help, of thanksgiving, gratitude, and of awe and wonder. They're meant to shape us as a people, to give voice to what we feel and think, but also to shape us as people who stay close to our humanity in a dehumanizing world. It's all of it, never just one or the other. So friends, wherever life has you, may these Psalms, may faith, may your being a part of this community help you to experience and move through and honor the fullness of what it means to be human, what it means to be fully alive. And here's to doing it together. Let us go in God's grace. Amen.